Oh, Sarvadharmasthapakatvam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Namaste, Pranam. And Sri Ramakrishna has given us that confidence that whenever we start loving God, when we love God with all the earnestness and sincerity, we will definitely have the God vision. We will definitely realize the ultimate truth. The earnestness, the sincerity, the yearning, the longing, that is the key element towards the worship. The hollow or the shallow worship is not going to take us anywhere. And then Sri Ramakrishna also gave us the assurance that whichever path we choose to worship the God, whether it is Vaishnava, whether it is Shakta, whether it is Shaiva, whether it is Vedantic path, Vedantist, or even whether the Muslim or the Christian faiths, the religions, all the religions, when practiced with earnestness, with sincerity, with pure love, with the Raga Bhakti, with the Prema Bhakti, will take us to the Lord. And Sri Ramakrishna says, with sincerity and earnestness, this is what he taught us in our last learning. With sincerity and earnestness, one can realize God through all the religions, irrespective of whichever path one follows. One will realize God, Sri Ramakrishna says. The Vaishnavas will realize God, so will the Shaktas, the Vedantists and the Brahmos. Everybody will, and Sri Ramakrishna says further, the Muslims and Christians will realize him too. Nobody will be spared from the God realization if the path they have chosen, they follow in the most earnestness and in most sincerely. All will realize God if they are earnest and sincere. That is the key element. Simply worshipping, as to show off, the shallow worship or the hollow worship is not going to take us anywhere. It will rather drag us down into the worldliness. It will not lift us beyond the worldly temptations. And for that, we need the earnest prayer. We need most sincere prayer. And when people don't get into this earnestness, sincerity, when they start doing worship just for the sake of showing off that they are worshipping, a pseudo worship for that matter, then what happens? Sri Ramakrishna says, then the fights they start. Only path that I am following, the path that I have chosen, the path that I have selected for me is the only true path. All other paths are nonsense. That is the attitude one gets. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, such people, they get into quarrels. The shallow and hollow and pseudo people, they get into quarrels over their religion. Some people indulge in quarrels, saying one cannot attain anything unless one worships our Krishna. Or nothing can be gained without the worship of Kali, our Divine Mother. Or one cannot be saved without accepting the Christian religion. This is pure dogmatism. Sri Ramakrishna says, one should never utter such words that only my God is real. Your God is fake, your God is false, your God is unreal. This is dogmatism because they have not realized the God. Without realizing the God, they start making these statements that only my religion is true. And that is the most dangerous thing to the spiritual aspirants. The dogmatists may say, my religion alone is true and the religion of others are false. This is a bad attitude. God can be reached by different paths. It is not that there is only one path which takes you to God. God has created so many paths, as many faiths, so many paths. Joto moth toto path. So, Sri Ramakrishna says, never get into this dogmatic mindset that only my path is true, only my religion is true, only my way of worship is true, and all others are false. Never get into that. Further, Sri Ramakrishna says this is as far as the worshipping the various religions are concerned. But even within one religion, say even within Hinduism, there are fights. There are fights among gods with form and God without form. Forget about worshipping Krishna, forget about worshipping Kali, forget about worshipping Shiva, forget about Vaishnava worshipping the ultimate Satchidananda, the Advaitic way of following the path of spirituality. Forget about these differences, for that matter, differences in the paths. People, they also start fighting whether God has form or God without form. Now, the paths of Christianity and the Islam, they are believers of formless aspect. Hindus, they have another very funny fight. They believe both in God with form and without form. So that is a fight within the Hindus. The Advaitists, they will fight with the Dvaitists. They will fight with the Vishishtadvaitis. My Satchidananda is the only truth. What you are saying is all humbug. So Sri Ramakrishna says, never get into that particular attitude. Further, some say that God has form and is not formless. Thus they start quarrelling. A Vaishnava quarrels with a Vedantist. A Shakta quarrels with the Vedantist. The follower of Shiva, the Shaivite, starts quarreling with the Vedantist. So they have a quarrel. One group saying God has form. Within them also there is a fight, no doubt about it. And another group saying God doesn't have form. Now Sri Ramakrishna says, one can rightly speak of God only after one has seen him. Only one has realized the God, one has the right to say rightfully whether God has form or not. And one who has seen the God, one who has realized the God, will never get into this dogmatic mindset of only what I have seen is true. Because the ultimate realizer, the one who has had ultimate enlightenment, he knows that God plays in so many forms. God plays within form, God plays without form. One can rightly speak of God only after one has seen him. He who has seen God knows really and truly that God has form as well as God is without form. And not only that, he has many other aspects that cannot be described. First of all, there is God with form, God without form. That is reality. And even within God with form, there are so many different aspects, hundreds and thousands and crores of different deities that the God appears in. So Sri Ramakrishna says, only one who has realized God by any of these paths, he knows for sure that God can be with various forms, and God also at the same time is formless. That is the ultimate enlightenment, and such a person never get into the dogmatic fights, dogmatic quarrels. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of some blind men. They are touching one animal, one huge animal. Once some blind men chanced to come near an animal that someone told them that animal was elephant. Now these 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blind people, they touched upon one elephant, huge elephant. And what was that huge animal? Somebody had told them, oh, there is an elephant over there. And then after touching the elephant, they come back, and then this person who knows is that animal to be elephant asks them that what kind of animal you had touched. They were asked what the elephant was like. The blind man began to feel its body. The blind man started touching the elephant wherever they could lay their hand on. One of them said, the elephant was like a pillar. He had touched only its leg. He vehemently said, elephant is like pillar, nothing else. I have touched it, I have known the elephant. Elephant is like the pillar. Then another said that it was like a winnowing fan. He says, no, what are you saying like a pillar? I have touched elephant. Elephant is like a winnowing fan. The winnowing fan that they use for fanning when it is too hot. A huge fan made sometimes of these bamboo sticks, or sometimes even of the thick cloth. So it is a winnowing fan. That person is very much convinced about what elephant is like. The third person, in this way, the others, having touched various parts, its tail or its belly, they have their different versions of elephant. Somebody has touched the tail and he says, no, it is just like something like rope. Once I had touched a rope. Elephant is like a rope. Elephant is like rope. I can say it with great assurance. I can say it with certainty. So that was his view. Somebody touched the belly. He says, no, elephant is like that. And all the different versions of what the elephant is like. In this way, the others, having touched its tail or belly, give their different versions of the elephant. Just so, a man who has seen only one aspect of God limits God to that alone. It is his conviction that God cannot be anything else. That is their misconception. They have realized God through that path, fine. But that doesn't mean that God cannot be realized by other paths. And then Sri Ramakrishna, what he means to say, that the others, they have not realized in its totality. They have realized just a fraction, and they get into this view that what I have seen, what I know, what I am following is the only truth. All others are nothing but falsities. It doesn't happen that way, Sri Ramakrishna says. That how can you say that God how can you say that God has only the form? God is not formless. Or if you are a follower of certain form of God, only that form is true. All other forms are false. You cannot say that. Have the broad view. First of all, have the complete understanding. Don't have that partial knowledge of what is God. The partial knowledge, the pseudo-knowledge is extremely dangerous in creating these differences, in creating these quarrels, in creating these enmities for that matter. So, first realize the God in its true potential. Understand what is the ultimate reality. And having understood the ultimate reality, then one realizes that yes, God has form. And not only just one form, various forms. God can be Rama, God can be Krishna, God can be Buddha, God can be Jesus. And start believing that all these paths are true. The path that I chose was as per my liking, was suiting to my temperament. But that doesn't mean that the path I chose is the only true path. As many faiths, so many paths. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Swamiji.